Should you buy a house right now during COVID-19, aka coronavirus? That is a question that I know a lot of buyers have, and I have a 3-part answer to that question. Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Tina Divine. I am the owner and broker of record of Divine Real Estate. I am also a licensed real estate agent in New York, and welcome to my channel. I wanted to do this video because I've received multiple inquiries from clients regarding the COVID-19 versus the real estate market, and if this is a good time for them to purchase a home. And I broke my answer down into 3 different sections. And number 1, inventory. Inventory has been a big issue since 2016. There has been a very limited amount of inventory due to the fact that interest rates have remained really low. You know, interest is the fee that is charged to borrow money. And if the fee to borrow money is lower, more people can borrow more money. Sellers were able to sell their home by receiving very competitive offers. During that time, during 2016 to 2018, I worked with a lot of buyers. I had buyers submitting offers well over asking price with very favorable terms to the seller, and we still didn't get the deal. And that was just the market at that particular time, especially in certain neighborhoods and in certain cities. It was super competitive. So the inventory was very low, and I understand many buyers are thinking, since we are in this pandemic, there are less buyers in the market. Maybe right now is the time to strike, and right now is the time for me to start looking at properties. A lot of people are quarantined. Maybe I could sneak out and look at some houses, and I can submit offers without a lot of the competition, which it kind of makes sense. And I definitely understand where you would be coming from with that notion. But I think that we are dealing with something that's very serious. I think that it's something that we have never dealt with, or at least I know I have never dealt with something like this in my lifetime. And I think that we do need to take it very seriously. And if staying at home means less people are getting infected, then I think more people should stay at home. So me personally, as a real estate agent, I have not shown any homes. Majority of my buyers are buyers of multifamily properties, and I just don't want to put my health or my family's health at risk to show a multifamily property that's fully occupied, just so that my buyer could get in and look at it. You know, because just because a buyer is looking at a house, it doesn't mean that they're going to like it. Doesn't mean that it's going to be suitable for them. It doesn't mean that they're going to submit an offer. So you're kind of just risking your life just for poops and giggles, you know. And for me, it's just not worth the risk. And I do understand that there are agents who are showing vacant properties, but how many vacant properties are going to be in the market for any one particular buyer? There's going to be at least 1 or 2 properties that they want to see that are occupied. And in the areas in which I service, we are a very densely populated area. So while the home may be a legal 2-family property, most of these properties and a large number of these properties are actually housing 4 families. You have a family in the basement, a family on the first floor, a family on the second floor, and another family living in the attic. And as a real estate agent, it is my duty to walk my clients through the property from the bottom all the way to the top. And I just don't want to risk coming in contact with all of these different people that's living in this one house. So I just think that right now is not a good time. It's not a good time to go out and look at properties. Now, I do understand if you're a buyer and you've been on the market, you've been looking, you've been submitting offers, you know, you've been a buyer since maybe 2018 and you haven't been able to get anything because of competitive offers, and you see a house and this is the house you wanted, but the house is outside of your price range, and now all of a sudden the house price has dropped and is now within your price range. I kind of understand you wanted to go in and just look at it really quick and then make a decision and submit an offer on that particular property. I kind of understand it. I still think that it's a risk involved, and I still would advise anyone to just stay at home during this time. But to me, that is a little more understandable than someone who was just out shopping around for a house during this particular time. As real estate agents in New Jersey, I am allowed to go out. I am allowed to show properties one-on-one. But like I said earlier, I have chosen to kind of sit this one out and wait until the market and wait until the air cleans up, wait until the pandemic is over before I go back out and start showing properties again. My second response is financing. If you are someone who was pre-approved January, February, March, first week of March or the first 2 weeks of March, you definitely need to check back in with your mortgage broker, because due to the coronavirus, the mortgage companies have changed a lot of their guidelines, especially as it pertains to FHA loans. The minimum credit score has increased. The debt to income ratio has changed. And I'm quite sure, especially for 3 families and 4 families, the amount of the reserve has probably increased as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you check back in with your mortgage guy just to see where you fall within the new guidelines, because I'm pretty sure that many people who were qualified in January and February are not going to qualify now because of so many changes. There also has been a lot of changes to the 0 down payment loans that were out there as well. Also, there are changes for investors, hard money lenders. Some of them are saying that they don't have money to lend. Companies are really, especially finance companies, they're really falling back at this time because we don't know what impact the coronavirus is going to have on us financially. A lot of companies are laying off employees. A lot of people are out of work. A lot of companies are saying that they're not going to be in a financial position to reopen after the coronavirus. So that leaves a large population of individuals to just be out of work. And when individuals are out of work, they're not paying rent and they're not paying mortgages. When rent goes unpaid, mortgages go unpaid as well. So that's going to have a ripple effect for finance companies, because if they can't collect mortgage payments, properties begin to fall into the list pendings, aka pre-foreclosure. And then you also there's a large population of individuals who were already in a financial bind prior to this happening. So for those individuals, they are going to begin to fall even further back than they were previous to the coronavirus outbreak. So, I think that right now is the best time to kind of sit things out, because we just don't know where we're going to be financially, and we don't know where the banks are going to be financially and how they're going to lend out money to buyers. I was talking to some agents from outside of the New Jersey area, and some of them had their deals fall apart right before closing. Like within the first 2 weeks of, around the 3rd week of March, they had deals that were closed in the first week of April, and those deals fell apart because the loans pulled back on the money. And a deal without financing is not a deal. So we definitely want to make sure that you as a buyer stay qualified. So you definitely want to check in with your mortgage broker. The third response is my personal opinion. As an adult of a certain age, I have lived through multiple recessions, and the one that I can recall goes back to around the year 2000. And during that time, I was looking to buy my first property. I was working in the financial industry, and I remember companies started laying people off. And older people I worked with, who have been in the industry much longer, they were talking about this company and that company laying off a lot of people. And they had friends that worked at other companies, and hundreds of people were being laid off. People from upper management all the way down were being laid off. And it's a scary time, Eventually, my company also laid off a large population of people. They actually closed down, I believe they closed down their New Jersey site. And their Jersey City site was closed down, and we all were laid off. Prior to being laid off, I was looking to buy my first house, and I was going to different home buying workshops, and I used to go to different community meetings about first time buying practices and things you should do to get ready to purchase a home. And at the time, prices were pretty low. I remember prices were low. I remember on the news, they were talking about a recession. There was the .com boom that didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, 9/11. And then once 9/11 happened, everything pretty much came to a stop. And I remember we were in a recession for quite a few years. Eventually we crawled out of the recession. The economy came back, jobs came back, people began to be employed again, and the real estate market took off again. 2004, 2005, well, 2005, yeah, I would say 2004, 2005, 2006, prices were up. Prices began to go up between 2004 and 2005. By 2006, prices were pretty high. Properties were selling pretty quickly. When I became a real estate agent in New Jersey in 2014, I remember doing some research on a few properties in a few different neighborhoods, and I just kept seeing that number over and over again, 2006, 2005, 2005. And I'm just like, there must have been so many houses being sold during those years, because almost every house I was looking up had a record of being sold back in 2005 or 2006. So it was a good year for real estate during that time. And then boom, 2008. And we had the subprime mortgage problem. And then we also had, the banks doing illegal practices, and people were losing their homes left and right. There were foreclosures and short sales everywhere, all across the country. And then again, prices were down. So, over my adulthood, I could recall a time where prices were high, prices were low, prices were high, prices were low. And then here we are in present time. Prices are high again. When we came out of the subprime crisis, and I would say we probably crawled out around 2013, 2014, because I remember 2015, it was a decent year. Homes were selling, prices weren't that high, but at least people were out and they were buying and selling properties. And then 2016, prices went up. 2017, prices continued to go up. 2018, prices were continuing to go up. And then we hit 2019. And from the information that I've been looking at, 2019, the end of 2018 into 2019, we saw a shift. When you look at other markets, especially like New York City market, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, they had already started seeing prices go down. They were already experiencing longer days on the market for properties. And they, as real estate agents, had to start adjusting how they dealt with sellers and how they price properties to put on the market, so that they got sold and they didn't just sit on the market. So there was already a shift in the higher end markets during 2018 and 2019. And I just feel as though that shift is going to begin to trickle down into the lower markets, where we are going to shift more into a buyer's market. I think right now what kept the prices pretty high in 2019, especially in the lower markets, is the fact that we had so many buyers there and the rates stayed low. And there were just so many buyers that overlapped from 2017 who couldn't get a deal, 2018 they couldn't get a deal, 2019, some of these buyers were beginning to get deals. And because the rates stayed so low, it kept that population of buyers really healthy. It kept a lot of buyers on the market. But with the COVID-19 pandemic, we don't know where we're going to be financially. And with so many people being laid off, so many companies, even prior to the coronavirus, we were hearing almost every other day major name brand companies filing for bankruptcy. And with all of these closings of companies and businesses, and now with this virus that has swept the world, we don't know where we're going to be financially. And banks are already showing signs that they are not going to be willing to just lend money to just anyone. In conclusion, my advice would be to stay home, stay healthy, don't risk your health, your family's health. I will also say, so if you can, and I know buyers are so anxious. I know so many buyers just want to get out there, especially buyers who have been in the market in 2018 and couldn't find a deal, 2019 couldn't find a deal. I know that anxiety, I know that feeling. And then when you look out the window, it's so beautiful outside and the weather is so nice and it's so sunny. Like, I get it, but I would say if you can, and this is just my opinion, I would say to sit this one out and try to see where the market is after the quarantine is lifted. In my opinion, like I said, I think we are going to be in a more buyer's market where prices are going to be a little more buyer friendly. But I do think that financing is going to be a little trickier, not trickier, but financing is going to be a little tighter. I would say pay down your debt so that you are increasing your credit score and you're increasing your income to debt ratio. I will also say to increase your savings if you can. I know it's a hard time right now, and I know that a lot of people are out of work, but if you are a buyer looking to purchase a home, you're going to need savings. You're going to need to have money in the bank. It's not a guarantee that we're going to have these programs, no money down programs, grant programs for first time buyers. So you may be responsible for paying your down payment and your closing costs. So having a sufficient amount of savings will only benefit you in the end. I would love to hear what you think about the current situation we are in regarding coronavirus versus the real estate market. Where do you think we're going to be once this is over? Do you think prices are going to continue to go up? Do you think we are going to continue to be in a seller's market? I would love to hear your opinion. Please comment below and like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.